Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Good afternoon. This is Jody Lowe with the Leadership Lowdown, powered by You and Improved and Conscious Capitalism Arizona. Leadership Lowdown is a radio series dedicated to shining a spotlight on business leaders and sharing the real stories behind their rise to the top. We want to know the truth about what it takes to truly succeed in life and in business. And we are here to uncover these leaders' journeys, whether it's the pitfalls, the victories, and all of the heartaches and triumphs in between. And today I am so happy to be sitting across from two powerhouse, amazing ladies that I love and respect very, very much. Kendra Riley, the owner of Dawning PR. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. And Anna Lamb, one of the founding partners of Beyond Payments.
Thank you, Jody.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
So happy you guys are here. So I don't know how familiar you are or aren't with Leadership Lowdown, but it's all about really uncovering why do you do what you do? What did it take to get there? What have you learned? What words of wisdom can you share? So I'll jump right in with you, Kendra, because
Sure.
I know you've got an interesting story of how you started your firm and how you juggle it all with your kiddos. So tell us a little bit about Dawning and what the vision is and how you started it.
So we're a communications agency, basically helping lifestyle brands communicate their message to the general public.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's through a TV segment on Fox or 3TV or in a magazine like Phoenix Magazine or Arizona Foothills or in the Arizona Republic.
Mm-hmm.
We work with those reporters on a day in, day out basis to get our client's story told.
Awesome. And do you do that? Is it all local or national?
We do have some national brands, but primarily local. And we do have a lot of local companies that are doing things on a bigger scale. So they need, outreach nationally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what led you to this field? What got you into it?
Originally, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So, the typical college story of I'm going to be an architect and then I'm going to be a graphic designer. And,
right. And an astronaut and a policeman.
Yeah. But my mom was always in the marketing field. So I guess I have to credit her for getting an insight into what she did every day.
Nice.
So it turns out I went to school for media relations at U of A.
Okay.
And when I graduated, I wanted to do PR for film and TV. And then I went to Time Warner in LA and they were like, we'll pay you $25,000 to live here in LA. And I said, no, thanks.
Yeah. Maybe not.
So I came here and my first job was at Ballet, Arizona. They created a PR position for me.
Oh, great.
And then from there, I kind of went into the agency world and got a feel for that and eventually started my own thing.
And so how did that bridge happen to actually take the plunge and make the leap to start your own firm?
Sure. So at the time I was working at the Hermosa Inn in-house. I wasn't at an agency. So I was doing all the communications for the Hermosa Inn and Lawns.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just had people reaching out to me constantly asking for PR help because they knew I was in the agency world prior.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened so often that I said, okay, there's a need. I need to do this.
Right.
So I formed my company and started helping some friends and clients. And
when was that? Around what time?
I started it in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think it was about 2 years later, I just decided to take the plunge, after being urged from my husband and being told that I can do this and just go for it. As well as my friend, he, does a lot of talent coaching and stuff. So I decided, okay, it's, now or never, I might as well. And it's been for the best. It's been
awesome.
Great. Yeah. I've learned a lot, but it's been exciting and now I'm growing. So.
And you mentioned your mom obviously being someone that you've admired in the I guess related field,
Mm-hmm.
but is there anyone that you sort of learned from or that was a mentor to you to help you grow your business or start your business, or was it kind of just figuring it out trial and error?
Yeah. So when I was kind of starting out in the agency world, Jennifer Mosier, she is now an owner of Rose Mosier Allen Public Relations.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of my mentor through the whole thing. So seeing her, not just doing the whole PR and event planning side, but also seeing her run the business and what that takes, really gave me a good insight into what being an entrepreneur and business owner is going to entail. So,
absolutely.
And I still, talk to her and go to lunch with her and get insight from her.
Sure.
So, yeah, you can always learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so when you made that plunge back in 2013, was it smooth sailing from the get-go? Was it kind of rocky waters, or how's the journey been?
I took it slow on purpose, because I didn't want to rush into things and be in over my head.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started with a couple of clients and really started reading some things and going to some networking events and some industry outlets to kind of see, okay, what are other PR agency owners doing?
Sure.
How are they doing their invoicing and accounting and things like that I may not have been familiar with? So it was really starting slow. And then as you start doing business, I mean, as in any business, you'll get referrals because if people like what you're doing, they're going to tell their friends.
Absolutely.
So that's truly how my business has grown.
That's great. So really the word of mouth. And it's interesting because I think a lot of our listeners too, especially those that are entrepreneurs or looking to start their own businesses, it's always the question of, so what did you do or how did you do it or what was it like? So when you think back to those early years, you mentioned, taking it slow. Did you have any sort of methodology or system that you worked like, were you like, gosh, I'm going to just focus on this niche of business? Or was it any groups or organizations that you were like, gosh, if I dive into that, that might be a way to build my business? Or what were some of the things that you did?
I really focused on lifestyle specifically. And I mean, that encompasses a lot now. And my company helps a variety of industries outside of that area now. But at first I had so much restaurant and hospitality experience. So that was really where I focused. So, clients like Padre Murphy's and Carlson Creek Vineyard were some of my first clients who I still work with today.
Well, that's great. And true testament to the work you do. They're still working with them today. And I guess, just a little side note outside of, running a PR firm, you also are a mom. So that is obviously the other question that I think any of us that have the work and the business and the kiddo equation. How does that work for you? How do you juggle it all?
Well, that was something that before we had kids, my husband and I were talking, and I was like, okay, I have this business, and that was kind of an ideal situation for me in my mind. Is how am I going to have kids and stay home with them and not sending them to daycare every day?
Right.
And I was like, okay, I can own my own business so that I can make my own schedule. I can work from wherever. And have one-on-one time with my girls. So, that's thankfully how it's worked out. But now as I'm growing, thankfully the oldest is in preschool now. So I have a little bit more time and I have to take more time out in order to help grow the business.
It's so true. Once they're school age, it's like the tears of saying goodbye, but it's also okay, I've got 5 minutes. Actually, I've got 5 hours. Holy cow, this is incredible. So there's a gift in all of that. So in the work that you do, what really makes Dawning PR different than other firms? Because I know that there's obviously a lot of competition in most industries, but in yours especially. So what sets you apart from
mine's a little different just because I don't have the regular PR agency structure of having senior account executives, junior account executives, and, interns. So what I like to do is use contractors that have either the same or similar levels of experience in the industry that I have. So then I'm not putting someone that's fresh out of college onto a brand new account when they think they're going to be getting me. So that's something that I really like and kind of pride myself on doing is you're getting a lot more experience than you would be maybe at a different firm. Right.
And have you felt, because I know obviously in your industry and like many, it's very relationship based and you've got to keep those connections. How do you find the time and to manage that, to keep those strong relationships with all the media and all of that?
Well, thankfully, also, it's because when you have so many clients and some of them are in so many different industries, you're constantly talking to different reporters on a daily basis. So, some of the reporters and people I work with, I've worked with them my entire, 13 plus career. And that's great. And granted, working with reporters in TV and in media, it's kind of a revolving door for them. So it's keeping tabs on, okay, they're not at the Republic anymore. Now they're working at the East Valley Tribune or, switching up TV stations. So it's kind of just keeping tabs on them and keeping up to date and then, reminding them, hey, these are my new clients, put them on your resource list or things like that.
Sure. And just keeping in front of them that way.
And it's the digital age too. So it's really hard to get, one-on-one time with anyone these days. But thankfully social media helps with that too and keeping up to date with people.
Well, I was going to ask that too. The landscape has changed for many of us in many industries. So how has that impacted you as a business owner and in your field particularly?
So when business pages first became a thing, gosh, it was probably 10 plus years ago. But I mean, people didn't really know what to do with it. Who handles social media? Who handles our Facebook business page? So it basically got given to PR people. Because we're like, okay, you're handling our messaging already. So handle this message because it's, getting out to the general public.
Sure.
So a lot of it in the beginning was teaching clients and educating them, like, this is what Facebook is, this is what Twitter is, this is what Instagram is, and this is how you use it properly.
Right.
So whether it was training our clients or just handling it all for them, that's kind of how it progressed for us. And now so many opportunities and things you can do, especially on Facebook with Facebook advertising and targeting certain demographics. So there's still a lot of education for a lot of people that need to be done that either, don't know about it or they just don't want to deal with it. So it kind of explaining how that works and how you can reach people in some cases better than you might be able to in a certain outlet.
Right. Well, and I think for many people, it's like, oh, I'll just do a post here and a post there, but they oftentimes don't have the strategy behind it or a firm that's helping them. Okay, what's the point of the messaging and who's their target audience and all of that. I do know that, obviously with social media in particular, it's changing every, not day, every hour, it seems.
Sure.
So how do you stay on top of that? Because that's so dynamic right now.
Right. For me, it's just keeping up with like certain blogs or certain, podcasts and networks, just kind of seeing what the industry is saying. And a lot of times for my industry news, I go on Twitter and I see, okay, like this is kind of what's current right now. And I go to those social media people on there and see if anything new is happening. And of course, when there's any major changes like Facebook algorithm things, that makes bigger news.
Sure.
So you're going to hear about it automatically.
Right.
But then there's a lot of things where you just have to have your network online that you're connected with who are in the know so that if there's something small that's coming out but may affect your client, you're going to be aware.
Be aware of it. Right. Right. That's awesome. So, and I love one of my favorite things is having, like I said, strong leading ladies, if you will, in the studio with us, because I think that for a lot of women, especially, and men too, but especially women who have maybe thought about, gosh, I've always dreamt of starting my own business, or could I, or what would it look like? Or, there's the excitement, but the anxiety that maybe goes with that. When you think back to whether it was 2013 or before, was there any piece of advice or anything that someone said to you or kind of gave you that spark of encouragement or I guess fever to get it started?
I guess it was my friend Juan. He owns Career Blind Spot. And so he helps people with, job benchmarking and talent assessments and all these things. He really pushed me.
Yeah. That's good though. Sometimes you need the push.
Yeah. He's like, I'm aware of your talents. You know exactly what you're doing. You just need to step your foot out that door and, push it open and go for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did talk to a lot of people about it. There's not one piece of advice that really sticks out. But just the general encouragement of you do this every single day.
Yeah. And giving you maybe the confidence to do something that you were maybe a little gun shy at.
And that's really what it took. And encouragement for my husband as well to be like, I got your back on this. Like, you can do it.
Yeah.
And then it's really, if you're unsure about running the business, which was my anxiety.
Right.
I hate numbers.
Yep. You and me both, sister.
So that was where I was like, oh, how do I even go about invoicing clients and doing all these things and keeping tabs on expenses and taxes and all that stuff. So, having basically delegating for the things that you're not good at is really important.
Yeah.
And it makes owning a business a lot less stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. I will tell you, one of my mentors told me many, many years ago, always hire someone to do the things that you're not great at. It'll, if you look at, and this is, I guess, the gospel according to Jody, but when I look at just the amount of time I have in any one given day or week or month, it's like, where are my talents best suited? Like you, I mean, do not give me the invoicing. Do not give me the taxes, when you can find brilliant minds that comes easily for, or that's their career. You're supporting another business owner, it's just like, oh, that feels good. And it's off your plate and you can just, breathe and focus on generating more income and working in your space of joy, so kudos to you on that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Anna, little Miss credit card processor over there, the glorious industry of credit card
lady.
Credit card lady. Yes. Sorry. Let me get the lingo right. So Anna and I have been dear friends for many, many years now. And it's funny because, outside of the studio, we've talked many, many times on the very glamorous world of credit card processing. And that's clearly not why you do what you do, is because you have a passion for credit card processing. I know it's a lot more than that. So share with our listeners, if you would, a little bit about what you do and most importantly, why you do it.
Yeah, sure. I actually fell into this unknowingly. I never thought I would be in an entrepreneur type position. by any means. I've been an optician for 25 years and retail medical for that long, and thought for sure I would stay in retail medical. You know, I ran a company in New York City for 13 years, like it was a similar regional company, similar to LensCrafters. Just thought I'd be fixated there until I met my partner. We decided to have kids, and that changed my entire outlook on life and what I need to do. And, you know, she couldn't get pregnant out in New York, and we thought to ourselves, okay, it's a sign from the universe. There must be something that we need to be doing to, you know, get our lives in the place that we want it to be. So her sister lived out here in Arizona, and we ended up moving out to Arizona to get pregnant, essentially.
There you go.
And 5 months later, here we are. We have two twin daughters.
Who are now turning 5.
Turning 5, yeah, this
So,
Saturday.
wow.
And, you know, so life just takes us in all different directions. So so just to kind of fast forward the story a little bit. So when I left New York, it was one of the hardest things I did, because my heart was there, and, you know, everything was going well financially, emotionally, everything. When I left, and I said, it was a private owner who owned the company, and I said to him, it's not about money anymore. It's about finding something that's meaningful in my life. And finally, you know, I found it. And it's not to say that I didn't love being here, but if I could do both, I would. But knowing that the goal is to have kids, I would never see my kids if I stayed in this retail
world,
right?
Yeah.
With 13, 14 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, right? Yeah. As a scheduled person. So I said, okay, I need to figure out this momtrepreneur thing that's, you know, so prevalent in so many moms' lives, because I want to see my kids when they're born. So ended up leaving, and he said, you know, write your own book. Tell me what you need. And I said, well, like I said, it's not about money anymore, but, you know, I want to continue helping you. I want to continue, you know, making a career in optical and with you. If that's an option, let me know. So he said, well, we have a sister company out in California, and you can live in Arizona and commute back and forth and see if that works for you. I said, sure, fine. Let's attempt and see what happens. Right. And so 2 weeks prior to the job starting, he said to me, guess what? We don't have the budget right now. Oh my gosh. And at that point, I had already built a house in Arizona, set all the groundwork to get my foot to basically, you know, get going. Right. And not
build a new life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I said, wow, what the hell am I going to do now? Right. So I had expenses out in New York still that I was carrying. Sure. Had expenses now in Arizona I was carrying. My partner was on her way to being pregnant. Didn't know we had twins yet at that point. It was supposed to be 1. Right. And 3 months later, we find out it's 2. Right. So, wow. Right.
Here we go.
And I had no clue of the lay of the land in Arizona, had no contacts here, had no idea what I was going to do. And finally, you know, I said, okay, after a long months of pity partying and long months of feeling defeated and sad for myself, I said to myself, okay, buck up and let's get out of this and figure this out, because we need to. Yeah. Right. So I ended up researching things that were similar to, that had some relation to retail. And I said, okay, well, I built this POS system, helped my company in New York get this, you know, register system going when I started with them. I think, you know, there might be something there. And I researched a bunch of different credit card companies, and most of them were just, the industry itself is just very underhanded, very not so nice to play with in most cases, and then found one that had integrity, was about transparency. I said, okay, let me see what this is about, and joined that company. And essentially, it's really like your own business because it wasn't a salaried job.
Right.
You know, it wasn't going to get paid every other week. And, you know, it was based upon what was earned, accounts that were earned to get payment. And what I loved about it, though, you know, with the whole entrepreneur idea is that, you know, like your own business, obviously you can set your own schedule.
Right.
You can make your own life happen and be the decider of what happens in your destiny. You know, as opposed to relying on an employer, relying on, you know, all those years, I thought that was the only way to make money.
Right.
And so it wasn't an easy step to take.
Sure.
By any means, you know, because I had never done it and the fear was there for sure. But I knew that I had enough confidence to be able to get into a different realm. And I knew that with kids coming about, that was my why.
Right. Right. So, that's what was driving you.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too, because the company that you partnered with, you know, today is very different than most. And I think when people really understand, oh, wait, we have an option, that there's a place we're going to run credit cards anyway, that there's an option that does what Bob Carr, the founder of the company, and what you have created, what this really does for companies and what it does more importantly for the communities that they serve is just huge. So if you would share a little bit about how Beyond does what they do, because it is very unique model.
Sure. So Bob Carr, the founder of the first company that I joined, Heartland Payment Systems, essentially he sold his business about a year and a half ago for $4.3 billion. Okay. So he was planning on retiring and ended up taking a different approach. He has a foundation that he started since 2003. It's called Give Something Back. And with Give Something Back, what we do is we fund college scholarships, 4-year full ride college scholarships for foster kids and kids of incarcerated parents. And so far, over 1,500 kids have been funded through the foundation.
It's just unbelievable.
And so Bob, when he owned Heartland, he was funding this foundation through his own means. It had nothing to do with Heartland Payment Systems. Then he decided, okay, let's be creative and let's start Beyond Payments after he sold Heartland. And let's fold in Beyond with the foundation. So his beneficiary for Beyond Payments is Give Something Back. So about half of our revenues go straight to the foundation. And it's truly 50%.
Which is crazy when you think about just that number is insane.
Yeah.
And that it's going directly to these kids, and they're literally, and I've seen some of the videos and things where these kids, you know, who came from, you know, really troubled, very difficult paths, now have a path in front of them that's just been gifted to them in the joy and the, you know, you see that just pure joy and that gratitude and that appreciation. I mean, it's so rewarding for an industry, like you said, that might have a little bit of a, for lack of a better word, a little bit of a sleazy demeanor or perception at least. Oh my gosh, there's a resource that, you know, is doing something right and giving back. And
so
awesome.
I'm a big believer in the universe, as you know, and I really, truly believe that, you know, as much as I had a pity party and as much as I thought to myself, oh, what a loss. I lost my entire identity by having somebody else direct my life and tell me that there was no job available. I lost my entire identity in a heartbeat after 25 years of doing that. And I thought to myself afterwards, now in hindsight, I think to myself, that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Yeah. You know, the universe was telling me, giving me a message that it's time. Yeah. You know, at 40 years old back then, it was time to move forward and do something purposeful in my life. Yeah. And then this came about.
Well, and I know this is just a piece of, you know, in knowing you as well as I do in terms of just mindset and generosity and even just the way you feel about, you know, money and finances and all of that. Speak a little bit to that too, because the way that you, I guess, look at and treat even physical money, I think is an interesting philosophy that many don't know or share. So talk a little bit about that, if you would.
I truly believe that money is never, I don't see money as evil. You know, that whole saying money is the root of all evil. That doesn't play into my vocabulary by any means. I think money is the greatest thing, and I wish for every single person to gain as much wealth as possible, because it is what drives passion. It's what drives things to happen. It's what drives you to be able to have, you know, beautiful memories in your life, because if you can't pay for it, your mindset is always going to feel lack. And if you feel abundance, what a difference. Think about the word abundance and feeling. It frees you from having to think about negative, about anything that's not. You can take money and you can buy experiences. You can buy memories. You can buy things to help people. Right. And what's the best thing that I feel I can do for my life at this point? And if I was on my last day today, is being able to lay there and say, how many people did I help? How many people and who did I help? And what's my legacy today?
And I think that's such a big thing too, because when we start viewing money as a tool versus this thing that we're all fighting for, or, you know, there is such an abundance and there is plenty for everyone. There's plenty of business for everyone. There's plenty of money, you know, and for those that do struggle or aren't in a position or don't have the mental capacity, whatever it is, to acquire it for themselves, what can we do? Much to your point of being able to share and give and help and support. And that's what, I don't know, for me, that's what drives me too, is how do we all lock arms and cross the finish line together? So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think that's a big part of who you are and how you look at the world comes through that lens. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. The universe has it, to your point, for everyone. And it's just a mindset of how we think about it.
And sometimes we have to help other people, you know, along the way to get there for themselves. Absolutely. Very, very cool. And how about you? So you've got twin, soon to be 5-year-old girls. What's that juggle? I know that obviously you've got a partner, so you've got, you know, someone to help manage the crazy, and especially with two. I mean, I'm a single parent with 2 kids, but twin kids is a whole different ball of wax. So how do you make it all work and happen?
Thank the Lord for a partner. Thank the Lord for Rebecca, because certainly it'd be a lot different way of being if I didn't have, you know, someone there to help. But I also think that it's putting things in perspective every day and taking it one day at a time, and just in the moment, living in the moment, and realizing that, okay, got through a lot, you know, over the past 4.5 decades, right? Almost 5 decades. What is this? Right? It's not that bad. It's not going to be that hard if you just focus on the moment and do what it takes to make whatever you need happen.
Absolutely.
I think the best parenting quote too, I heard from a client of mine when we were about to have number 2, and they're like, you always just have to remember that the days may be long, but the weeks are short.
So true.
Yeah.
It's a great quote. That is a great quote. Because I do think that when you're in the mix of it and you've got, you know, this time of year, you got sick kiddos and, you know, all of a sudden the school calls or what, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's like, oh gosh, everything can feel like the world is like chaotic and crumbling of like, how do I juggle all of this? But yeah, to your point, it's like all of a sudden, like, you can even remember that a month from now. You know what I mean?
You blink your eyes and they're 5.
Or 14. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what I found, and I'm sure, you know, your kiddos are all younger, but what I found too is all of a sudden, you know, even physically, you know, all of a sudden I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a mature young woman, you know, in my home with me. Like this isn't like to me, she's my baby, you know, and even my youngest is of course my baby, but I mean, she's as tall as me, if not maybe just a tiny bit taller now. And I just look and go, my gosh, when did that happen? When did it all go by so fast? And I'm sure like you've probably heard it from your parents and grandparents. Oh, enjoy it. It goes by fast. Right. But I think until you're in it and then you start to realize the memories and, oh my gosh, that was 5 years ago or 8 years ago or 10 years ago. And you're like, gosh, what the heck? So yeah, being present and in the moment and creating that joy and the memories, I think to your point, Anna, too, it's when you can create the memories and the experiences, gosh, I don't know. I just came back from a trip to New York. It was a business trip coupled with a vacation, if you will. And I will tell you, it's like, they're priceless. The memories are priceless. Seeing things through your children's eyes and watching them light up and experience things for the first time. It's like, there's no price tag you can put on that. That's just what it's all about. Sorry, I'm preaching to the choir. I know you're all like, yes. But, it's crazy. It goes by way too fast. So, being present in the moment, for all us working moms, it's a big thing. Well, I don't know, how familiar you are with this, but part of what I've incorporated into the Leadership Lowdown are some questions that I love. And these questions originally came from a French talk show, and then they were incorporated into a Bravo series called Inside the Actors Studio. They would ask these actors and actresses, you name the actor or actress that's probably been on this show, these same questions. And I think the answers, the spontaneous answers that are revealed are so interesting and telling and fun. So I thought we'd go through these too. So I'll start with Kendra on this one. So you ready? You ready? Sure. Okay. She's like, oh boy, what am I getting myself into? Okay. So Kendra, what is your favorite word?
I guess possibility.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that word.
I like that a lot. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Anna?
I would say abundance.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's an easy one for her.
I like words with options. I'm an options girl. Yeah. So there's lots of ways to define abundance, whether it's wealth, whether it's health, whether it's emotional abundance.
Yep. Awesome. Well, and whoever wants to jump first on this one. So we got your favorite words. What's your least favorite word?
Someday.
Ooh. Is that one or two words?
Someday. It's one word.
It is one word. Yes. It's very interesting for all of our listeners that are graduates of You and Improved. They're going to have a chuckle with this because you are attending You the Warrior, one of our classes in April, and that you just said someday will make them all chuckle because it's a big anchor in that class. Someday.
Oh,
yeah.
Well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. This mysterious someday I'll. Someday I'll.
Why is it not today? Yeah. Is what I ask.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why?
Yeah. Why not now?
That's a good one.
Back to the present today. I love it. I love it. How about you, Kendra? Do you have a least favorite?
I don't know. Can't and hate are two words I'm not fans of.
Yeah.
Like for obvious reasons.
Yes. No, I'm with you on that, sister. By all means. Absolutely. So and I'm just going to throw this at you, whoever wants to jump on it first. What turns each of you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I mean, for me, travel. I love to travel. And I want to do more of it.
Yeah. Do you have favorite places or do you have a bucket list of locations?
Oh, I mean, my husband Dave and I want to go everywhere. But I mean, we went to Thailand on our honeymoon, and that's just a super special place. I mean, definitely an experience. It was an adventure for sure as far as getting around that place. But I love it. It's like a special place in my heart. But I mean, Paris, I love. We want to go to, wine tasting in southern France and a million other things. But anywhere I can travel, I want to. And we're excited to do that with our girls too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you can experience a culture like that. Absolutely. How about you?
I think I crave and I do every day is something a little more simple than traveling. But I love traveling. Is I listen to a lot of thought leaders and just really turns on the creativity, turns on the thoughts of, how can I be a better person in life?
Yep. Back to the personal growth part of the journey. Awesome. Awesome. Love it. So on the opposite side of that, what turns you off?
I don't know.
For me, I think when I think about what turns me off, ignorance.
Yeah. That's good.
So true.
Closed-mindedness.
Yeah, I'd say closed-mindedness. I mean, any negativity, and I guess what the opposite would be of inclusion.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially in my industry, there's a lot of female leaders. And a lot of the females, I feel like, there can be some cattiness in organizations. But now I feel like we're getting to a place where it's about women helping women. And that's really nice. And I like that.
Yep.
And being able to support each other and help each other.
Absolutely. One of my favorite quotes, actually, we just posted it recently on social, was it's by Madeleine Albright. And she said, there's a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. And I do think that is so true and so telling because, again, back to the abundance. There's plenty for everyone if we just support each other and, help each other. We can all grow together. It's amazing. So thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what sound or noise do you love?
My kids' laughter.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah. Here we sit with 6 girls between us. We've got 6 daughters between us. And is there anything better? I mean, whether it's the baby belly laugh, those first laughs, or when they just think something is so hysterical, or even just, I don't know. I've experienced it now, even as a teenager. I'll watch my daughter when she just finds something so funny. It's just pure joy. I love it. I love it. So what sound or noise do you absolutely hate? Or dislike? Sorry, I know you don't like the word hate, nor do I. So what sound or noise do you dislike greatly?
I mean, are we talking nails on a chalkboard?
Sure, whatever you want. Interpret it however you'd like.
People chewing very loudly. I don't like that.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. How about you?
I think when I hear a kid in pain or upset, crying, is tough for me.
Yeah. Whether it's your own or others. Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I want to write books.
Oh, nice.
I plan on doing that one day.
Yeah. Not someday, but one day.
Yes. It's in my plan.
I love it. You will.
At some point when I get, extra time, some way, somehow.
That's awesome. So an author. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of book or?
I have a few different thoughts. I mean, I could easily write a PR book, but I feel like that would be, I don't know, not as fun to venture out of my, wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And now having the girls, I read so many children's books and I think, wow, these are kind of not great reads.
Right.
I could write a better children's book than this.
Yeah. Something a little more engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my husband's very into like sci-fi novels and things. And, he'll listen on Audible. So if we're in a long car ride, I'll unfortunately have to listen sometimes. And I laugh at them because I think the way they're written are just,
just
so comical. Like, I mean, he's not laughing, but I am. And I was like, I can write this book.
Yeah. Like, I got this. I got this. That's awesome. That's awesome. How about you?
Well, I guess if the audience hasn't realized already, I'm gay. And I've come out of the closet already, but my closet profession would be like a world famous singer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
a Barbara Streisand.
Yeah. Are you going to go on The Voice next season?
Yeah. I don't have any voice.
Oh, okay.
You're like, that doesn't exist. I love it. And you're a self-proclaimed introvert, which is funny because there's this, the closet singer, Broadway star. I love it. I love it. It's hilarious. That's great. What profession would you not like to do? Like, what would be the worst?
Oh my God, Kendra, you're going to hate me. I would never want to be an author sitting there thinking about what to write.
Okay.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
I have to be in an up and about
moving
type thing always.
Yep. Interesting.
I would have to say, I mean, numbers are just not fun for me. So having just hired, a CPA, I would say I would not want that job ever.
Yeah. Like ever. Totally. I get that all too well. So finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? Deep thoughts.
Right?
Wow. Your determination got you here.
Nice. I like it.
You helped enough people to make it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I would just want to hear, now you can do anything. What's next?
Yeah. Yeah. Free me. What is it that you want? I love it. And to kind of close out these thoughts, what, I guess, word of wisdom, we talk about the leadership lowdown. Like, what is that lowdown? What's the nugget that you want to leave our listeners with? So what is that either piece of advice, word of wisdom, something that you would share with our listeners today that you'd like to leave them with?
Another hard one.
Yeah.
I guess for me it would be, and I'm stealing somebody's quote. I don't know who it is, but be the change that you want to see in this world.
It's Gandhi.
It's Gandhi. Okay, thank
just
you.
That little guy. That little guy Gandhi. He said and did a couple cool things.
And that requires authenticity.
Sure.
And for me, authenticity is the way of life. And I've learned that since my 25 years of chasing the dollar. And it's not that you can't chase the dollar, but be genuine, and be who you are. And, you know, money is great. Yeah. You know, but you can have that money and still find purpose in your life and be able to do something that, makes sense for you authentically.
Right.
You know, and by doing that, I think you set yourself as an example for the world to follow.
Yep.
Lifting other people up.
Yeah.
That way.
Well, I think that to your point, you know, I think when the purpose becomes money, that's where greed and flaws, and that's where the root of all evil piece comes from. But when money is looked at as a tool to help and give and create, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, it's a different perspective. So how about you, Kendra?
I have a terrible memory, so I'm not good at quotes.
Okay. That's okay too. We don't need a quote.
But I'll go for something recent I saw. I was on LinkedIn and someone posted a quote, which I cannot repeat, from Richard Branson. But he was saying, if there's an opportunity in front of you, take it.
Yeah.
You can learn how to do it later.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you have an opportunity, just be confident and go for it.
Yep.
Amen,
Don't know how to do
sister.
something? Google it really quick.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so true. How many opportunities are missed and just passed to the next person willing to say yes?
Right.
And, you know, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you fail. You're going to learn so much more from the failures, you know?
You just have to take a risk and be confident.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in that as well. Well, if any of our listeners want to reach out or connect with either of you, whether it's, you know, to learn more or about your businesses, how's best to connect? If it's LinkedIn or websites or whatever's best.
Yeah. Any social media you want to connect with me on is fine. Or you can email me, Kendra@dawningpr.com.
Awesome. Dawning, DAW.
Yeah. DAWNINGPR.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, for me, email anna.lamb@getbeyond.com would be great.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you both so much. It's been always a pleasure to hang out with both of you, but so great to learn a little bit more about your businesses and more importantly, why you do what you do and what got you there. So thank you so much for being here today. And for our listeners, you've been listening to the Leadership Lowdown, hosted by me, Jody Lowe, and powered by UN Improved and Conscious Capitalism Arizona. At UN Improved, we are passionate about partnering with companies' leadership to develop their most valuable asset, their people. To learn more about our personal and professional development classes and trainings, visit unimprove.com, or you can contact me at jody@unimproved. Thanks so much. I look forward to talking with you all soon. And until then, take care.